All right, hello. Today is Monday, and it's about 2 in the afternoon. I believe is June 13th, something like that. Anyways, today I basically decided to wake up pretty early. I woke up around 5 a.m. And then went outside to see if I could find something to eat for breakfast. Basically, what I've been trying to do is figure out a work schedule that allows me to get stuff done and actually have time to explore around the city during the daytime. And so that's kind of the topic I want to talk about this time around, as far as like if you're a digital nomad and of course you want to go explore the town, and also you have work that you have to finish. Uh, Hopefully you have a lot of work going on, a lot of projects going on. So obviously that gets you paid, allows you to do your trips and all that good stuff. But at the same time, it does tend to keep you from being able to go out all day, which is unfortunate. But it is the life that we've chosen. But you can't have both at the same time, so you have to come up with a nice compromise. And so that's like kind of something I want to talk about, go into a little bit more detail about what works for me and maybe what you guys can try out when you're a digital nomad, or if you already are, what are some of the things that I've been trying to do that help. So anyways, today I woke up early because I wanted to get to work by 6 o'clock. I wanted to start my work. And so I went out at 5, looked for a breakfast place. And unfortunately here in Yilong County, I have no idea how to say the name of this specific city I'm in. It's like Jioxio. It's like Jaoxi. It's this Taiwanese name that I can't pronounce to save my life. So this city, pretty much everything is closed in the morning. Even Starbucks doesn't open till 9 a.m. It's very interesting. That's I think this is the first time I've seen a Starbucks that it's not open at like 6 in the morning or earlier. So I walked around, and fortunately I was able to find a 7-Eleven a couple blocks away. And it was raining, and it was it's pretty wet outside. But I got to 7-Eleven, got myself some breakfast, some really crappy breakfast, but it did the job. And then I got some coffee. So then I just pretty much have been sitting down and doing work all day, and from 6 o'clock to 2. And this is basically the schedule that I've created for myself going forward. I've done this on past trips, but I think this time around I was messing around with different schedules, but I think this is the schedule I want to stick to. Feels like it's something that works for me. So basically, something that you might want to do is explore the town during daytime, because obviously at nighttime, depending on which city you're in, you're limited in which activities you could do. You could obviously go out and still see the city at nighttime, but if, like, for example, you come to some village or some smaller town in Taiwan, for example, and you want to like rent a scooter and then go see like the mountainside or go see the beaches or whatever, you definitely want to do that during the daytime. There's a lot more fun you could have if you're like that kind of person during the daytime. And so a schedule that has worked for me in the past, and I'm trying to reuse the schedule, is waking up really early and starting work early, and then finishing up work by like early afternoon, so around like 2 o'clock or so. And then you have basically another like 4 or 5 hours of daylight left, depending on where you are at in the world. But usually around spring, summertime, the sun doesn't set till about 6:37. So I think that this allows you to have another like 4-5 hours of daylight to go exploring the town or the countryside or whatever. And then at nighttime, what you could do is, if you have leftover work, which is what I'm planning to do, if I still have some work left over that I wasn't able to finish in like the 7-8 hours that I initially spent during the early day, then I would just sit down at nighttime, force myself to get back to work for an hour or two and finish the overflow of work at night. And so basically the schedule, the way it works is 6 to 2 work, 2 to 6 or 2 to 7 go out, explore, and then nighttime spend a couple hours working if I need to, and then go to bed before 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, so that way you get 6-7 hours of sleep. So depending on how you are, you come up with your own schedule. So for example, I would imagine if I was a type of more party person, I don't know how you would put it, but if I enjoyed going to clubs or going to bars at nighttime, then I would probably just start work around 9 o'clock, finish up by 5 or something, and then head outside to the nightlife around 6 o'clock. So I think this is definitely an important thing to try to get into a routine right away and kind of come up with a schedule that works for you. I feel like there is definitely this feeling of a fear of missing out, which is a topic I want to go into more detail about, but there is definitely this fear of missing out feeling that you get when you're a digital nomad, and unless you have a really good strict schedule that you can stick by at work, you're always going to feel like, oh, I'm not spending enough time exploring, I'm spending too much time working, or on the flip side of it, you feel like you're spending too much time exploring and not enough time working. But if you're able to come up with a really good schedule that allows you to kind of compromise a little bit and be able to explore and at the same time get your work done, then it's all good. So yeah, that's kind of my idea around the work schedule. Another thing that you have to consider is if you have a lot of phone calls with wherever your clients are. So for example, most of my clients are in California, and so I do have to have monthly calls, reporting calls with my clients. And so around this time of the month, around the middle of the month, I have most of my calls lined up, and this is basically a time where I do have to wake up even earlier than usual and have the phone calls earlier on in the day, because of the way the time difference works. If I want to talk to my clients in their afternoon, I have to wake up really early here if I'm in Southeast Asia. So obviously, depending on what you do and who you need to communicate with, you have to create the schedule that's going to allow you to make your phone calls or whatever you need to do during that certain part of the day. So if you're a digital nomad that does cold calling, and that's how you make your money, then obviously, depending on which country you're cold calling, you would have to line up your work hours to match with that. So you can't always have, unless you're some sort of developer or designer that pretty much is standalone and doesn't need to be client facing too often, then you kind of have to come up with a happy medium. So yeah, this is a topic I'll cover more. I'm going to see how this schedule works out for me. I'm about to go out right now, go do some exploring. I still have a little bit of work left for today that I plan to do when I get back. But yeah, so I'll update on how this work schedule is going, maybe in another video, to see what are some of the upsides, downsides of waking up early and finishing up early and exploring during the daytime. So anyways, that's the little short video I had for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.